Now at 6, a new ruling from a federal judge is barring ICE from arresting people without a warrant, with some exceptions. We'll break down the decision coming up in a live report.
Nike in some hot water after the Trump administration says the company's DEI policies discriminated against white workers. How Nike is responding to the accusations ahead. Plus,
of course, security is an important responsibility.
With less than 24 hours until the opening ceremony, safety is top of mind for Olympic organizers. Later this hour, we're heading out live to Milan to get a closer look at why this year's games are providing extra security challenges. Your News at Sunrise starts right now. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on your Thursday. I'm China Green.
And I'm Matthew Herchik. Glad to have you with us. Rod Hill and Chris McGinnis standing by with a look at weather and traffic. Rod, I don't feel like we were appropriately excited for your big day today.
Chris is here to thank now, too.
Know, that's right.
Weather
Both
Person's
of you guys,
Day.
That's right. Big
Happy Weather Day.
Happy National... Tell people what it is, Rod. National Weather Person's Day.
That's the definition of lukewarm, isn't it? Here's a look at our Rose City camera. We are mainly clear out there, and it is colder in many spots than it has been as of late. PDX is setting at 37 degrees, but there are some frosty spots with freezing numbers. Scappoose reporting fog in 32. Could be some ice crystal deposits making some slick spots. Hillsborough is the same. Battleground is at 30. You have 45 in Gresham, where the east winds have been gusting to about 40 miles per hour this morning. Silverton picking up some east wind. And then there's some fog near Salem down through Albany and Corvallis as well, with temperatures again right about at that freezing mark. Now, with all that said, the big headline for most of us is the sun and the big warm-up expected again. Chilly start at the bus stop, but 53 degrees at noon, and we'll be climbing near 60 about the time the kids get out of school again on this afternoon. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. We pick it up with a traffic alert over on I-405 northbound. It's kind of tough to see what's going on right here, but this is from the Everett exit ramp, and the taillights there are heading north up onto the Fremont Bridge, so the lower deck here. We can't quite see what's causing the hang-up, but we obviously have something that's causing traffic to be delayed here right now on 405 north, basically from about the on-ramp from Highway 26 up onto the Fremont Bridge. Again, that's the lower deck. We'll keep you posted on this. Outside of that, I really don't have any other traffic trouble out there just yet. We're off to a pretty good start so far.
Chris, thank you. The Tillamook School District will be closed today after a threat circulating on social media and through phone calls. Though they did not specifically say what kind of threat it was, the district says law enforcement is actively investigating. They say at this time there's not enough information to determine if the threat is credible, but classes are canceled today out of an abundance of caution.
This morning, a federal judge has ruled immigration agents in Oregon must stop arresting people without warrants unless they're likely to escape. The
ruling is a preliminary injunction as part of a proposed class action lawsuit. Thomas Schultz joins us now from North Portland. Thomas, what led up to the judge's decision here?
Yeah, well, guys, the judge heard testimony about these arrests in question, including the arrest of Victor Cruz, a Hillsborough grandfather. Cruz says he was arrested and held in a detention immigration facility for 3 weeks, even though he has a valid work permit and a pending visa application. The judge called actions of agents in Oregon, quote, violent and brutal, and said he had concerns about the administration denying due process. We reached out to the Department of Homeland Security but haven't heard back about this, though in court filings the federal government says in part, quote, plaintiffs cannot establish they are likely to suffer irreparable harm in the absence of an injunction because the harm they fear is speculative. Adding an injunction would interfere with an exclusive function of the president to enforce immigration. Still, courts in Colorado and Washington, D.C. had similar rulings to the judge here in Oregon. Important to note, though, guys, the federal government is appealing both of those cases. Matthew, China.
Our Thomas Schultz reporting live this morning. Thank you, Thomas. Meanwhile, we're hearing from President Donald Trump about immigration enforcement, particularly when it comes to tactics, in an exclusive interview on NBC Nightly News.
Mr. President, speaking of Minneapolis, what did you learn?
I learned that maybe we can use a little bit of a softer touch, but you still have to be tough. These are criminals. We're dealing with really hard criminals.
Those comments come as Border Czar Tom Homan announced plans to withdraw around 700 immigration officers from Minnesota, promising, quote, smarter enforcement, not less enforcement.
Developing this morning, the Trump administration is investigating Beaverton-based Nike around claims it discriminated against white workers. Corey Johnson joins us this morning with details from that lawsuit. Corey.
Yeah, good morning, Matthew. The Trump administration has filed a subpoena against Nike on claims that the company discriminated against white workers with its diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. Now, that's according to the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, or the EEOC. Now, the lawsuit comes as Nike works toward two targets for increasing its representation of racial and ethnic minorities. That includes a 30% representation rate at or above director level and a 35% rate across its U.S. corporate workforce, all part of a 5-year plan set back in 2021. Now, the EEOC now believes that Nike violated Title VII anti-discrimination laws to meet those goals. Court filings claim that Nike may have shown disparate treatment against white employees, applicants, and training program participants. Now, the commission also says the company failed to provide information it asked for in the fall, something Nike disputes. Nike representatives saying this week they've given the EEOC documents on their policies and are committed to fair and lawful employment practices. Now, in this case, the allegations of preferential treatment were not made by workers of the company. Now, Nike has also been sued for racial discrimination. Those lawsuits in the past were raised by people of color. Matthew, China.
All right, Corey Johnson reporting live. Thank you, Corey. This past holiday season will be the last for the Lloyd Center. The Portland Business Journal is reporting that the building's owners plan to shutter the mall for good. The closure would pave the way for a large-scale redevelopment. While no official closing date is set, the building's owners said in an email to the PBJ, quote, "There will not be another holiday season at the mall." A virtual design review hearing on the Lloyd Center master plan is set for this afternoon at 1:30.
It is 6:07. Time for a look at the forecast with Rod. Going to be another dry day today, Rod?
Yeah, minus mist with early fog pockets. I always like to throw that out there because if you're in a spot where it's foggy, step outside and there's a little mist in the air, you're like, what? And here is what the fog map shows up around Scappoose. It was a quarter of a mile visibility. Now it's a little bit improved, but the visibility goes back and forth. And a little bit of fog once you get down near to south of Wilsonville into Salem and down to Eugene. And in a lot of cases where it's foggy this morning, the temperature is right near 32 degrees. So frosty fog can be surprisingly slick on surfaces if you get some ice crystals condensing. Here's a look at the Vancouver camera. This is shown at times the signs that maybe there is a little bit of developing fog, but right now visibility is good. And that's one of those cold spots, 32 degrees. Salem, another cold spot right now holding at 33. Good visibility, but that could change. We had some late morning fog there yesterday. Here are the current numbers. 41 up in Seattle. We've got 25 over in Bend this morning. Where, if you haven't heard, Bend was 72 degrees yesterday. Wow. All right, this afternoon. 65 in Tillamook is still kind of wow, right? 60 in Eugene, 60 in Kelso, upper 50s in Bend, 56 out in John Day. Most of us in the valley will be upper 50s to maybe getting up into the low 60s again today. Tomorrow, the dry weather and sun continues. The rain develops Saturday. It's a rainy weekend overall. I think it's raining Saturday night, raining Sunday steady more than not, and then sun and scattered showers to start next week. And that is your update.